Hello and welcome back to Living Room Critics. And this is what, episode 4?
4.
We made it to 4 episodes. That is pretty freaking awesome. Woohoo! I hope you're enjoying it, and I do appreciate everyone who has been loving on the YouTube and this. No one's loving on the Spotify, let's just face it. But I know on YouTube you guys are seeing it, and we are getting some traction on TikTok. What's the traction on Facebook?
It's small.
It's and
I don't think we've hit 100 yet.
Okay. Well, like I've said in the past, everyone go support the social medias and all of that, and just love on us wherever you can. It's greatly appreciated. Today's episode is going to be fun. We've finally gotten to the punk stuff. But before we get to the punk stuff, there has been an update, according to my mother, about Mr. JFK Jr. and his lovely wife, Carolyn Bessette. All thanks to the Daily News in the UK?
Daily Mail.
Daily Mail.
Yeah. This past week, Daily Mail went and released additional autopsy information that wasn't released when the crash initially happened, and that basically they said that JFK, when they found him...
This is going to be slightly graphic, so trigger warning.
Yeah, you're not going to visually see it, but that his wife and his sister were in the back, in the seats.
Wasn't it her sister? Not
yes,
his?
no.
Well,
her sister.
His sister-in-law, yeah.
Yeah. And that around them, it crushed the two of them together, and that supposedly that when they got to JFK Jr., John was in half. And it's like, wow. So, but I'm just saying, if you go to the Daily Mail website, it's a paywall, so you're going to have to pay to see it. Okay?
Did you pay to see it?
I'm not going to say that.
Okay.
I'm just saying. And two, also, if you go and Google it, there is a video of one of the rescuers, because back in 1999 there were no smartphones, so it wasn't like the guys that were going down to the wreckage to go bring them back up to the top, they didn't have pictures of any of that. It was just all verbal, but there's videos of that. If you Google, you can see it. So what's today's episode about?
Switching gears, why not? Let's hit you with some darkness before we hit you with some lightness, because right? Still, rest in peace, JFK and Carolyn and her sister and all of that, first and foremost. Good thing about them is at least when they're angels and they're whole.
Oh, yeah.
So, hey. All right.
It was just their material body that was left.
Yes.
It still was sad what happened altogether.
But
it's just sad.
Rest in peace. Okay, so switching gears. Today's going to be a really fun episode because you are actually, should we call it, well, to me it feels like family history. I ain't gonna lie. To me it feels like a little family history lesson. But for those who don't know, I was raised punk, okay? And even though I am a pop...
You're a pop culture girl.
No, not pop. I love me some pop girly music, okay? Like Spice Girls. Taylor Swift came later. Taylor Swift came like 3 years ago.
Yeah, she was a big Spice Girl fan.
I remember there was like, I had a thing where like each day of the week, I was a different Spice Girl, and on the weekend I was myself or something. Like even my cousin and I, when we would do performances, I would go through my thing and okay, what can I do to make me scary Spice? I somehow had a baby doll dress, and like I was just then getting into sport bra, so I was able to do the whole like dress and the sport bra and the space buns.
Yes, but keep in mind, when Sarah was 10, we had won tickets on K-Rock, and we got to fly to Denver to go see Pearl Jam.
But hold on, before we get to that, okay, I would like to kind of explain something. Explain growing up punk, okay?
Alright.
Because, yes, I did know about Mom's past in the early 70s, and like, I do remember you did talk about photographing the Clash when you went to London when you were like 18, or was it 19? 18. All right, like you said that you would go to a place called The Mask every Friday and Saturday and take pictures of these punks. Okay, I knew all of that growing up, but. Like she even took me to concerts like she was about to say when I was 10 years old. Long story short, her coworker won the tickets, and she invited my mom, and my mom was like, "Hell yeah, let's go to Denver and see Pearl Jam." And then something happened with her family, and didn't she have to like show up in court that day or something? And she goes, "If you want, you could take your daughter." And I was like 10 years old, and it was an automatic yes, and yeah. So I had to be on a plane the first time. I was leaving California for the first time. I wasn't going to Vegas. No, it wasn't the first time because I've been to Vegas to go see Grandpa. So, like, we were going farther than Vegas. That was exciting. It was all going to be 24 hours. That was probably the best 24 hours of my 10-year-old life, because not only did I see Pearl Jam live, and weren't we like 6 rows from the stage?
No, we had good seats. We weren't that close.
Okay.
But
to me, it felt 6 rows from the stage. and also I got high because people were smoking. Remember, people were smoking around?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Because it was weird because we were sitting next to somebody from Utah. And he was talking about how they don't have liquor in Utah or something.
No, they like to drink dirty sodas. Basically, sodas with coffee creamer in it. Anyway.
And the next day after we went to the concert, the next day we went to Molly Brown's house.
And if you don't know who that is, she was on the Titanic. If you've seen the movie Titanic, Kathy Bates' character, thank you very much. And that, core memory, so much. And for those who believe in ghosts, I have a feeling she touched my elbow. Just saying. That was when we were walking around her house. And I've always had spidey senses. You could ask this woman, I'm like, when we've been in a room, I'm like, Mom, there's someone else here that we don't see. And all of that,
Castle Green's really haunted in Pasadena. That's really haunted.
Oh yeah, the little boy, I love that. Okay, that's for another day. We'll probably get to that around Halloween when it comes to all of our little spooky adventures and cemetery situations. But anyway, like I said, it was the best 24 hours of my life. And we, right after Molly Brown, we went straight to the airport and came home. Okay, mind you, that was 10 years old. 7 years later, I'm 17. I'm pretty sure my dad has already passed. Okay? And I can't remember how exactly, but this woman one day comes to me, and I think it was around the summertime. She goes, well, remember how I told you about the punk days when I was in high school and all the photos and this and that? And yeah, and I think, around that time we had just moved into our own apartment, and you had found what I like to call the Bible, which is basically her negatives.
It's all my negatives from that shot in a notebook that I used in high school.
So I call it the Bible. And so from once the Bible kind of showed up, it was kind of like clicking from going, okay, like Mom, like it was kind of like Big Fish, where all you heard were stories, and then once like the physical the physical product or the physical people, whatever, started showing up, it was Big Fish. So 17, I just met the Bible, getting to know her work. Then she was, well, someone from my past wants to interview me, and her name is Alice Back.
It It wasn't an interview. She just wanted us to come over and hang out.
Yeah, hang on. But then didn't she also do?
No. Then what she did is she had me submit for on her website. She has Women of LA Punk, and I'm one of the stories in Women of LA Punk.
And the photo that is taken of her and Alice was taken by me. Yeah.
Yeah, you got credit.
Yes. So, from that moment on, it was basically a tidal wave of situations. No, it really was, because then, like, I kind of felt like our life kind of turned upside down, and like you were going and having art shows all of a sudden. Like, we were getting your stuff printed and like framed and all the things. And really, I feel like we should just get, like, I'm trying to segue.
Well, there's another book coming out that's got my photos in it. It's like when it comes in the mail, I'll show you guys.
We'll definitely do a show and tell. But
they bought a Weirdos and the Bags for this book, and it's all about punk albums.
Yeah. So those who don't know, and you're like, okay, yeah, punk this, punk that. She literally documented the first LA wave of punk. My mom is historic. Do you understand? So we gas you up. Okay? Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, I'm like a double nepo baby. Like, hello, I'm like my grandmother's granddaughter, but also I'm my mother's daughter. And so once that happened, we were going to shows and this and that. But really, I want you to kind of talk about life back then. You know?
Well, one of the...
How did it all start? In
1976 is when I bought my camera.
Because you were in photography in high school.
What happened was I knew because of Grandma, and Canon was her vendor, and I knew I could get a camera from there. We had gone and ordered the camera, and I paid for it with working at Hanna-Barbera in the Xerox department. And when we got it, that's when I started taking the photography class in high school at Poly.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the egg became bibby for the chicken?
Well, no, because then it's like, well, it was better if you had your own camera when you're taking photography class, because they didn't really have loaners. And anyway, and then because when I would go to the shows back then, there was one photographer. Well, there was a couple of photographers. One was Jenny Lenz. Everybody knows who Jenny is. She shot a lot of stuff. You can check out her work. She's got a good website. The other person that really inspired me to do photography is a photographer named Donna Santisi, and she recently passed away. But Donna was friends with Patti Smith. So I was getting poetry that she was sending to Donna, that Donna was making copies and giving to us.
Is that how you got into because weren't you a Patti Smith Van Scene U.S. ambassador?
No. What happened was I was working at Bump Records, and there was a fanzine from the UK called White Stuff, and it was Sandy Robertson that put that together. One of my assignments at school was I'm sorry, I can't think of what the procedure was, but the whites had to be white and the blacks had to be black. So what I did was, and Robert Mapplethorpe should have had my head on a platter, I took a picture of the Horses album, and then I went and, if I had to go and touch it up on the back for whatever, I did. And I printed that, and I sent a copy to Sandy, and Sandy made it the cover of the magazine. Well, he would send the fanzine to Patty every time when it was released, and I was on there as the USA correspondent.
Oh, correspondent,
yes.
Not ambassador.
No,
okay.
Correspondent. And one day I get home from school, and there's this little card, and on the back it just says Cartier. I'm like, wow, what's this? I open up the card, I open it up, and it's a letter from Patti Smith thanking me for when I sent copies of the poetry to Sandy, and that she just was saying thank you for helping spread the word. And yeah, it was pretty cool. I liked it.
Well, that's a story I've never heard. Oh. See, I would love to go to...
Yeah, see, I'm like humble and I don't go around bragging.
Anyway, okay, so from there, from there,
so then after that, then my first interview was with the Mumps from New York. And the lead singer was Lance Loud. Christian Hoffman did keyboards, and Christian and Lance wrote the music.
But hold on, can we do a little snippet on Mr. Lance Bass?
Lance Loud.
Lance Bass, oh my god.
Yeah, you need to edit that out. Lance Loud was in a documentary called Portrait of an American Family. He's the first reality TV star that came out of the closet and came out as gay.
But not only that, they're the first family to be on TV with a reality show.
They're the first reality TV.
It's not the Kardashians.
Nope. It was the Loud family.
Yeah, in the 70s.
The Loud family made it possible for the Kardashians and all the other ones to do what they did. If it wasn't for the Loud family and ABC, who I believe produced it, if it wasn't for them doing it when they did it, who knows if there would have been reality TV happening when it did and got so big with Ozzy Osbourne and the Kardashians and others.
Yeah. And knowing that from the minute I found out about the Mumps, you better believe we're going to give credit where credit is due when it comes to reality TV, because you know I'm a reality TV queen, and Patti Loud is the queen in my eyes. Okay? Not Patricia, oh my god! Patty.
Oh my god.
I am Patricia on fire Loud. Today.
And it's like you've met her.
Yeah, I've hugged her.
Yeah, you took a picture of the two of us together at when Walter went to Larry Edmonds' bookstore on Hollywood Boulevard. He was promoting his Edie Beale book, and we went to that, and Patricia came to the signing. I mean, she came, and then afterwards I asked her if we could do a picture. I mean, I sent her pictures of Lance that I shot when they played the whiskey, and she did something really, really cool. I had done a gallery show in Los Angeles, and I had gotten back a bunch of prints, and so I pulled, I think, 2 or 3 of like 11 by 14s of Lance, and I mailed them off to Mrs. Loud, and about a month later, I came home, and there's something, and I'm like, I don't recognize the address, but I open it up, and it's a book on the New York scene, but it's a book from Mrs. Loud with a thank you letter inside, thanking me for sending her the prints. And it's like, I just love Mrs. Loud. I'm sad she's not here anymore, but she just was a beautiful person. And it's like, the other thing too was, like I said, my first interview, that it got sent to Sandy for the magazine, but it never got published. I interviewed the Mumps backstage at the Whiskey after they performed the first time, and I had questions written down, and we're back there, and we're like starting to, and the one thing that happens is Lance goes, "Oh, let me see your questions." Okay. Whenever you have to interview someone, don't let them see your questions ahead of time. I'm just saying.
Well, there's now laws
Lance,
where...
I know, but Lance made edits like, no, yes, no, so.
Or is he the first person to do that?
I have no idea. But I'm just saying. It's like I learned real quick. But it was a good interview. I liked it. I thought it went really well. So, but,
All right, so segueing from that. That was kind of like you started off with that, but can we get to the LA of it all? You jumping on the bus and going down there Friday nights.
I wasn't going on the bus. I was driving there. Like going to the Mask and the Whiskey and the Starwood. By then I had a car.
But weren't you going down to Hollywood on the bus at one point?
No.
Oh.
I never took the bus to Hollywood.
Okay.
Not like that. No, that wouldn't have happened. Mom wouldn't have let me go.
Okay, no, okay.
It's like I had to be home when I went on like Friday, Saturday nights. I had to be home by midnight. If I didn't get home by midnight, I wouldn't be able to go the next weekend. Yeah. And Grandma was strict.
Yeah. Okay. So, what was the scene? Like, once you, like, drove down there, you parked, like, what was the scene? Like, you would walk up to the Mask and, like, were y'all, like,
you just
first off, can we talk about the Mask being a freaking fire hazard? Like, okay, the Mask.
Well, we didn't know that then that it was a fire hazard. For
those who don't know where it is, it is an underground. It was an underground
club. It's the basement of the Cecil B. DeMille building on Cherokee and Hollywood Boulevard.
Which is now a World of Wonder building.
The production offices are upstairs, but the gallery's gone.
Oh.
It's been gone for a while.
And obviously I have not been in Hollywood for a good decade, so. But if you know of the World of Wonder Art Gallery, it's underneath that, like on that corner.
And remember when we went on the Helter Skelter tour with Scott, and it was your birthday, I think you were 18. We went and stopped at the gallery, and James St. James was there.
Yes.
And we
went downstairs.
And he took us downstairs, and we went down to the basement of the Mask. It was fun. That was fun.
St. James that day, that core memory just got unlocked. Yes, because he was like, oh my God, I love New York punk. Let's go.
No, but
the walls are still spray painted.
Yes.
That was
hasn't been erased. It hasn't been erased.
Oh.
But I have pictures of it. I think we used pictures of it in the Bags book, the Bags at Hollywood Forever, and in the Weirdos book that are on blurb.com.
Also, obviously, when you're watching this on YouTube, I put as many visuals as I can over it, so you have probably seen some of those visuals already. Because the one image that I'm thinking of is the one of Pat Smear setting up his drum set, because you could see the back.
Oh, that was just a hangout.
But still, it will showcase the wall, the spray paint. Like, I knew her images, and then walking down, I was like, did Pat stand there? Is that where all the polka dots are? What? Ooh! And of course it was storage.
Yeah, James St. James wanted to, like, manifest Darby crashed. Remember? He's like, let's do a seance and see if we can get Darby to come.
Yeah, I was, But I was like, we gotta move this stuff first. But anyway, that was a cool day. That was a really cool day. So anyway, okay. So like I said, they would go down the stairs. There was no stage. Wasn't this? I remember Terry saying.
It was like a wooden stage, and it was like maybe 5 inches high.
Oh, so it was, okay, what I envisioned was even smaller. I thought it was one of those, like, flat pieces of wood on the floor, and they just...
No, it was, like...
Very homemade. Yeah. And the owner was Brendan
Mullen.
The one and only Brendan Mullen, who, unfortunately passed away. But I ended up getting a really cool photo of him before he passed away, and wasn't it used in, like...
Well, in his memorial when they announced that he had passed.
Yeah.
In LA Weekly.
So that was like a cool moment. I'm like, oh, my photo, yay! And it was really cool because like he like saw me, and like I don't know if he knew that I'm like Dawn Wirth's daughter or whatever, but like he saw me and did one of these, and I just happened to click when he was like kind of saying goodbye. So the fact that they used it in his memorial, it was like him like saying peace out to all of us. It was. Yeah, I got a little bit too deep on that photo, even though it's just a simple click of a photo. But anyway, like, okay, you get down there at what, like 8 p.m.? Earlier than that?
Like between 7 and 8. And then like I said, I had to be home by midnight.
Okay,
so
we're not talking about heading home. You obviously made enough curfews because you would go a lot. But what I'm saying is, once you get there, like where like you would hook up with friends, what?
Yeah, whoever you'd see
Set
who
the
was
scene.
there. I mean, you would get there, you'd see who was there, you'd go say hi to them. You know what I mean? But basically, I was there to take pictures, and you had to get there early. If you didn't, there was one photographer, I'm not going to name, made it difficult for you to have
Space.
a good space to shoot. So my thing was, I wanted to know who was there, but at the same time, I wanted to be close enough to the stage to get good pictures.
And let me say something, as someone, I remember from a very young age, whenever we would go to concerts, and we had floor seats. I remember, good example is when we would, I'm pretty sure it was No Doubt in Santa Barbara, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We left early that morning to get there, and like, we were gonna like hang out on the beach and like go get tacos and all of that, right? But no, I remember at like 3:00 in the afternoon, 4:00, you're like, okay, let's go line up. And I go, Mom, the show's not gonna start until night. She goes, we're getting our seats. Okay? We're gonna get our seats. We're gonna be in the front. Okay? And like that happened with She Wants Revenge. Oh man. I don't think I've
ever. Wilton, we were right there.
Yeah, I have to say I don't think I've ever saw She Wants Revenge in a seat. I think we were always in.
Well,
anyway,
it's hard to sit in a seat when you go to see She Wants Revenge.
Well,
you want to be up and dancing.
No, yes, but something that was engraved at me from a very young age is if you know that you're going to be on the floor, you get to the venue like 5 hours early. And
that you get there.
secure there. And now, hello to the root of it. It was all because, she wanted her spot on the floor. But also, okay, as you were talking about that, I remembered the Darby crash of it all. Because didn't you go to a school where he was at a finishing school or something that was attached?
No. Him and I used to meet up at the Capitol Records swap meet.
Hold on. And Darby Crush, for those who don't know, is the lead singer of the Germs.
We'd meet up at the Capitol Records swap meet. I would go through, because usually I got there before he did, and then I would tell him where all the different Bowie stuff was. Because we'd look for Bowie stuff. And then the Germs started, and I started going around shooting them I shot him at the Whiskey. I'm not sure if I did the Starwood, but I've got photos of them at the Whiskey. It's just, I love Darby. I loved hanging out with him. But no, I don't have a Germs burn. He wasn't doing that when I knew him. So.
No Germs burns here. We are cool. Okay? We're the cool kids. That was one of the...
If you have one, though, I've got nothing against you for doing it, but I just don't have one.
No, I remember that day that we went over to Alice Bag's house, and we were in the garden, and we brought up the germ burn and all of that, and because wasn't it like you had mentioned? Yeah, Sarah calls the pictures the Bible, and she assumed I was glorifying Darby or like or godly.
She thought that the Bible, which was a book of negatives. She thought it was like some kind of Darby crash reference. And when we got there and I showed her what it is, she's like, oh my God, do you know what you have here? And I'm like, yeah, a bunch of negatives nobody wants to see. And she's like, no, you have a gold mine here.
Yeah, so all the photos she took just for fun, just as a hobby, as a teenager. What?
I don't think it was a hobby though.
Well, no, but like
I didn't treat it like it was a hobby.
No, I don't.
If I treated it as a hobby, I would have tried to get my work in like the different fanzines and stuff.
No, but like it was your creative outlet as a young woman, basically, right?
Yes.
I should say a young woman Capricorn, really, because as Capricorns, if we're not creating, we're not living. Anyway, so from the moment she was like, no, you are, like, me calling it the Bible seemed very appropriate, because literally from that moment on, it was literally like...
Then that's when the art shows started happening. We had the first one at Anti-Market, and that was a joint show with John Miner and Jesse Xerox, because they had their silk screen collaborations, and then my black and white prints, and then
and because of that show and meeting Jesse and John, my mom was able to meet legit other artists who would generally help my mom print her photos and tell her about the art business, and don't do this, like, don't do that.
I owe a lot to John Miner and Jesse Xerox.
Yeah, because
because if they had not come into my life when they did, I'm sure I would have been ripped off big time. That
show was extremely small because it was like in a little clothing store. It was very small, but the moment was so big.
There was a lot of people that came to the opening.
I only remember Aunt Corey, Grandma, and...
but there was a lot of people. Even Dan Kessel came.
I even remember Jesse and John at one point telling me to not go in the back because of a certain snowy powder. They I saw it.
I'm glad I didn't see that.
I looked and like John, I can't remember who, it was either John or Jesse, and they're like, don't go back there. Yeah. And like, I'm like, okay. But anyway.
And then after that show, then came the show at the Darkroom Gallery, which was like on San Fernando Road.
Is that the one where I was...
Yes, you were one of the punk girls.
I was a punk girl passing around
my
brownie
punk
bites.
rock brownies, because I went and made the different punk rock brownies.
Oh yeah, because that was another, like, when all
there was like 2 or 3 girls that we had walking around passing out the brownies to everybody in the gallery, and there had to be like at least 350 people that came to the opening. There was so many people.
Yeah.
So many, and I had the front, and in the back was another photographer named Luis Jacinto, and
that was another relationship that was that was created that night that is very near and dear to us. So,
and then after that, then came the Vexing Show, and that was it was to focus on the punk from East LA. Oh. So Alice Bag performed opening night. I had 3 images in the show that we blew up to, like, I think 16 by 32. And there was 2 of those, and then I think a 16 by 20 color image of Alice from when she did, she got honored with an award in Silver Lake.
It was from that Pioneer concert. Night?
Yeah, and it was a picture from that. But the other 2 big ones were from the Hollywood Cemetery, the Bags at Hollywood Forever book that I put out. It was 2 images from that book that were on display at the Claremont Museum of Art.
And question, wasn't that whole photo shoot of the bags and at Hollywood Forever all one roll? How many rolls did you use?
Just one roll.
Yeah.
So what we did is, okay.
How many different
I had to pay for all my stuff. That's why I worked at Hanna-Barbera. My mom got me the job there, and I would do miscellaneous stuff. But when I would go to shows, I could only afford maybe 1. If I had 2 rolls of film on me, it's like, oh wow.
You were rich.
Yeah, but normally it was 1 roll of film. Like, I know when I shot the Sex Pistols show, the last show in San Francisco, that was just 1 roll, and it was color. But I had to shoot the other bands too. But anyway,
you had to be very okay.
Selected. But with the bags at the cemetery, we chose like 6 locations in the cemetery, and we did like 4 shots each in those areas.
And for those who are like, 1 roll, what does that mean? It means it was not digital.
To really be careful with what you shot, and you wanted to make that shot count.
It's that roll of film that you put in a film camera that you take pictures of, and then you pull it out and you go and take it to CVS to go get processed. It's that thing for all of the Gen Zers and betas. Sorry. So it was a good what? How many years of like art shows were we experienced? Like that art show, the Vexing Show was sad for me because I was going with a coworker and I was driving with them. Something told me no, I should drive with my mom.
Yeah, but she didn't.
These fuckers. No, because I did. Because they got lost. They got lost. Anyway. And I missed my mom's probably biggest art show. And I was not okay.
No, because you forget that we had the show from Vexing went on to Guadalajara.
That was your biggest show yet, and I missed the LA opening night, and you think that's okay on my heart?
Okay, but I never held it against you.
I know you didn't, but as a proud Capricorn daughter, I am not okay. Did I see the show eventually? Yes, absolutely, because we did host art shows through the Claremont Museum.
Well, no, what happened was John Miner taught a silk screening class, and we went to that. So she got to see it then. And then they offered me, it's like, do you want to show how to make buttons, punk buttons?
That's right,
so Sarah and I took the Metrolink to the museum that day. Or no, my mom was going to see the show because she didn't get to see it. And so she took me, Sarah, and we went with Uncle Tim and Aunt Susan so that they could see it. And Uncle Tim drove. But they left us there. And then I taught a class on how to make punk buttons, and I brought like 100 like different magazines and taught the kids how to make buttons.
It was a fun day. Those
both of them. Yes. And I liked John's because it was silk screen.
Anyway, so that was a good No, because how many years? It was like a good 5-6 years of it, and then it kind of like it's just kind of stopped, which is fine.
Yeah, but I'm in printing books and stuff like that. People still reach out and either they want to buy prints or they want to license images for books, etc.
You need punk images.
To remember, the one thing that happened like 2 years ago, where the guy, I sent him the photographs and he turned it into like a art installation in an envelope. I know you haven't seen it.
But I'm sorry. I am remembering a certain situation with Dave Grohl. Can I talk about that? Okay, I can. She didn't say yes, but she didn't say no. Okay, so yeah, Dave Grohl. Remember when he did that HBO series on punk stories and punk people and punk cities? Right? No.
It was different cities, and it wasn't necessarily punk cities. When he got to Los Angeles, he wanted to do the punk series, and he wanted a bunch of pictures of Pat Smear. And we sent everything we had, including those pictures of Pat in the mask when we were just hanging out, playing on the drums, and like Nikki Beat was teaching him. We sent him all that stuff, and we really thought we were going to get like a big payday, and they didn't use one.
Jenny Lens. Okay, cool. Like
it's fine. It's fine, Sarah.
No, but it made me feel like because Jenny Lens is a bigger name. Like she.
Okay, let me just say so. I just want to say this. She's a unique person. Very unique. And the one thing that she said to me, just before I printed the first Bags book. So this had to be, let's see, between like 2010 and 2011. And she says to me, you know, the only iconic pictures you have are those ones of the bags at the Hollywood Cemetery, which is now Hollywood Forever. And I'm sorry, I didn't even respond because it's just like, wow, you're just like kind of pigeonholing me, but it's Jenny.
But it's like, hello, have you not seen my mother's pictures of the Clash? There is one image of the Clash role that you have that I think should be more iconic than it needs to be. It's the bass player standing in the spotlight.
Yeah, the Paulson.
When you put that on canvas, when you and Jesse had printed that on you still have that, or is it sold? If it's not sold, it is mine, and no one is getting it. Okay? It is gorgeous. But yeah, no, that's basically.
I know I have the 16 by 20 that we had hung up in the apartment.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Oh no, I still have that. I didn't sell it
because
I don't want to. I mean, I didn't sell it.
Don't.
No, it'd be nice if the Clash reached out to me because I'd be happy to show them what I have from the music machine.
And mind you, these pictures are of the Clash before they came to LA and exploded.
Yeah.
So they were a baby band.
I want to say June, July 1978 in London. And I was the first LA photographer that shot them in
London.
On their home ground. Yeah, on their home ground.
It's like, and then also like thinking about it, I'm like, hello, Darby and his.
And I shot the last Sex Pistols show in San Francisco in '78 too.
Can we talk about how Mr. Sid saved your life?
Okay, so that day, first I had to beg my mom. Please, Mom, I want to go. Mom, please, I need to go. And then I got to, Mom, I'm 18 now. I need to go. Who are you going with? And I tell her, and she's like, all right, you can go. All right, cool. So the girl and I, we drive up there, and we get to... The night before, the Weirdos were playing Mabuhay Gardens, which was a nightclub in San Francisco. And the girl and I went to that show and hung out with the Weirdos and stuff. And Sandy, from the roadie for the Weirdos, got us a place to crash, which was a warehouse of somebody that knew the Weirdos. And we could sleep on the floor. So that was the girl, me, and Pat Smear. That night, because they told us you can't use the bathroom until the following morning.
That's not the story I'm talking about.
I know, but can I...
Okay. Oh, okay.
Just please...
Oh, well, I didn't really research this story. Okay.
So, we're there at the warehouse and everything, and everybody's winding down. And of course we had to pee, but, we just held it.
Ladies, it's harder for us to pee.
Anyway,
like that.
So Pat goes and says, he's out on the balcony and he's peeing over the side and he's going, I can do that, but you can't. And I'm like sitting there going, yeah, you're right. Because if I went and like sat on the ledge and peed on the street, I'm like going, my mom's going to find out and I'm going to be in so much trouble. So I'm like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that.
That she's exposing her booty to a street. She was more concerned about her mother.
So the next morning it came, we all got to use the bathroom. We went to the venue, got in line. I stayed in line, and then I was right at the stage. And I stayed at that stage the whole time. So I credit not peeing all night to that I was able to get through the whole show not having to pee. So I didn't have to read. I don't know, but I was able to stay at the stage the whole time.
Did you have any liquid on you? Like, did you have any water?
No, well, I don't think so.
That's probably...
Maybe a bottle of water, if that. I don't think so. But it was right. I was pressed up against the stage. And as the day went on and more people came on... But before the Sex Pistols came on, there was one guy that kept being an ass. And he would, like, put his elbows up like this. Now, the stage was here. And I had my camera on the stage, okay? But he kept going like that. So it's like, what the fuck? And there was a guy behind me that said, when the Sex Pistols come on, he goes, I'm going to jump up. So in the meantime, what he did was he put his hands on the stage and had me stand between him so I could breathe. Okay? Because like it was like being a sardine in a can. He comes on, the guys come on, the Sex Pistols come on, the guy jumps up. The next thing, the guy's with the thing again. And I was pissed off at this time because he had been doing it the whole time he was standing next to me, even before the pistols.
And mind you, she's about to end up underneath the stage. Okay?
No, there was no underneath the stage. Anyway, so I was under Sid. That's where I was standing. That's when Sid came out. That's where I was. So I
believe, and I believe he was always on the left side of the stage, wasn't he?
If you're looking at the stage, yes.
Okay.
Anyway, Sid's there and he's, playing blah, blah, blah. The guy with the elbows, I bit him. And then,
that's my mama.
And then the next thing I know, Sid spit in his face and the guy disappeared.
So, moral of the story, Sid Vicious saved my mommy's life so that I could be born. So, yeah, delusional, absolutely. But no, like, is that not a freaking cool story? Like, when I said she was going to end up under the stage, I think in my
Under the stage is when I saw the Pretenders played Perkins Palace in the 80s. Mm-hmm. And I took my camera and I got down in the pit and I was taking pictures. And at one point, a security guy rushed from the stage and was going to grab my camera. But underneath the stage at Perkins Palace, I was able to jam underneath and go to the other part of the stage. And then I walked back and I waited, and the person that I was standing, he's like, no, come back. And I was able to keep shooting, but yeah, that was crazy. Yeah. It wasn't the same as shooting.
Why do I not remember you going under and I thought, okay.
Okay,
I must have twisted stories.
No.
In my head,
Sarah,
I think.
You have to understand, I don't brag about stuff.
No, but I'm just saying my own memories of it from you telling me.
I've never told you that story before.
Then why do I remember you mentioning being underneath the stage?
I don't.
Unless I visualized the guy with the elbows elbowing you into the stage. I remember you saying that you were getting smashed up against
but it was like
the barricade.
It's like this. You got the stage, and this was all solid. So it was probably solid wood, and you were. I mean, there was so many people at I think it was the Winterland up in San Francisco. I think I know for a fact. That whole Sex Pistol tour, it was only maybe 6 dates. It was all sold out. So that show was sold out. And I know if I hadn't have gotten down, if I hadn't gotten in line when I did, I wouldn't have gotten a couple of the pictures I got.
Yeah. So I think we should end it here because that's a lot of stories.
We hope we haven't,
Yeah, that, and we also try to keep it a goal of trying to not bore you guys for over an hour. So, if we did, I hope you enjoyed it. All right. Anyway, so that's Mommy's punk story. That's.
Now, next week we're going to talk about 2 more, but a New York punk pioneer and a LA punk pioneer, right?
Yes. Do we want to drop those names?
No.
Yeah.
Why don't you go and put in the comments who you think who it's gonna be? We're curious.
And should we have a clue saying that we have mentioned them in the podcast already? Oh, I'm gonna say.
Don't make it that easy for them.
No, but we have mentioned a lot of names.
Yes.
They don't know if it's a boy or a girl.
Exactly.
So
it could be anybody.
So let those guesses fly, please. All right.
But let us know. Put it in the comments on YouTube. We appreciate it.
Also, on top of that, if there's anything that you would like us to talk about,
yes,
let
us know. We're open.
And always and forever, thank you. And please make sure you hit subscribe, hit follow, share this with your friends. Your punk friends who know a thing or two about punk. They want to hear this, okay? I promise you they want to hear this. And as always, make sure you go and check the description for the links for TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And also, there's Spotify. There is Spotify, people. If you don't want to watch us,
you can listen to it in the car when you're driving to work.
And we're
because they're short enough. I'm sure that you could like listen to the whole podcast when you're driving to work.
And
Just the idea.
We are relatively kid friendly. Relatively, we have.
Yeah, we haven't been dropping F-bombs. Not really. We've been really good about it.
We have sprinkled a few F-bombs that I'm confident in. But yeah. All right, on that note, I love you guys, and we'll see you next week when we are talking about some punk pioneers. And we're gonna continue on with the punk stuff.
Cool. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Oh, thank you, G. Oh, whoa.